Hey guys, how's it going? Hey, I just wanted to show, pulled another old laptop that I got, and this is the M14x R2. I don't know if you remember that. When these came out, these things were awesome. I mean, the whole design of them, they're a really cool design. Had the backlit alien head and stuff, which wasn't super uncommon, but it had this really cool rigid rubberized texture to them, which was kind of new at the time. Copper heat sink, and these are pretty good. Sorry, there's a calculator there, I just realized that. But anyways, you can see here, I mean, it's been everywhere. DreamHack on the bottom, there's all kinds of I don't know what you want to call it, I guess QuakeCon stickers, QuakeCon every year. This has been just about every year for the last 7 years. So 7 years of age, M14x R2. Just to show you, this laptop is exactly how it came. I just want to show you the performance. Actually, I take that back. We did put a SSD, a Samsung SSD in this to upgrade the space in it whenever the original hard disk drive just kind of filled up. We decided to transfer everything over. The SSD made a huge difference. But let me do this. Let's see here. Oh man, you know what? I think I turned it off. Yeah, there we go. So just to show you, I mean, this thing is a rocket. Let's see here. I mean, it's already on. Probably about to load Discord and Steam and stuff. I'm all signed out on that. Yeah. But anyways, so just kind of wanted to show you. I mean, this thing is pretty thick, but it still works, and this thing still plays a lot of the games max settings. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, yeah, right. But it will, seriously, even if it's only like 30 frames per second, most every game you throw at this, it will still play full settings. I mean, just to show you, I mean, we got 12 gigs of memory in it. It's not even dual channel anymore. We upgraded it to 12 gigs at one point. We pulled a memory stick out of another laptop and threw it in here just to up it up a little bit. Because it only had like 8 gigs, I think, to start. So we upped it to 12. CPU, I think it's like a 3.2 to 3.4 gigahertz. It's the i7-3630QM. The overclock setting is turned on in the BIOS. And this one has the GT650 mobile NVIDIA card in it. It sounds crazy, but this thing actually does play all the games pretty quickly and on high settings. So I'm making that up. And then of course, you have the M17 here, which will play everything ultra. And the most impressive part about this is really just the fact that, like, here, let me show you real quick. So somebody was asking me about the fan settings, and that's what I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to go in the Alienware profiler, and there it goes. Alright, so right now I'm in balanced. I hate this autofocus issue. It's in balance mode, there's full speed. So I just want you to hear what it sounds like on full speed. I'm going to click it right now. Hoping you can hear that. I don't know if you can or not. It's about as loud as it gets. I keep it on balanced. Seems to run great. You can already hear it going pretty much back to zero. Yeah, I mean, this computer's basically not even trying at any point in time. I just realized that I actually There's the issue. Yeah, it was on battery saver mode. I forgot it's not even plugged in at the moment. So it says 59 minutes remaining. Yeah, you can actually put this in battery saver mode. And if you do it through here, actually, Alienware Command Center has a really cool setup. So I'm in high performance mode right now, but if I throw it in balance, it actually has a set mode that will turn off all the RGB. Let me just, screw it, I'll show you real quick. So it turns off all the RGB, changes the backlight to 250 nits. Tobii eye tracking can track whether or not you're in front of the screen or not. So if I move my head out of the way, it will dim the screen off until I get back in front of it again. The Tobii really doesn't seem to use any power from what I can tell. And for basic web browsing and stuff, yeah, I mean, it's great. And obviously the processor's still working pretty good right there. If I go to YouTube, for example. Oh, we got another comment on the video. Let's see here. Oh, we got another one. We got another one. Come on. Alright, I think we're okay. Let's just see. It hasn't fully updated yet. It's showing an hour and 3 minutes, but I guarantee you here in just a second it's gonna go up. Let's just wait and see. The other night I did actually happen to grab a good 4 hours and 36 minutes just YouTubing in bed. So I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously, depending on what you do, is gonna vary on the battery life, but in full battery saving mode, just kind of browsing YouTube, I got a little over 4 hours. And on the M17 versus the M15, that's pretty impressive because I do have a bigger screen on here. Otherwise, the tech in both of these is pretty much the same. It's hard to believe that the M17 wouldn't have better cooling than the M15, because that's even less space to throw some air through. So that's my personal opinion. It's the same motherboard in here. It's just got more, case space to actually run air through. And they said that it was a 25% air improvement on the 17 and a 10% on the 15. So it just makes sense that this would be the better cooling model. And honestly, side by side, it's really not a big difference. And I know this isn't the M15, but whenever you put the 15 next to the 17, it's really not a big difference. So just kind of pointing that out. Here we go. So you can see here, it's showing me now 4 hours and 12 minutes of battery life remaining. So, and that's at 88%. So I'm just putting it out there because when I started out, obviously I was kind of full brightness, RGB on, everything like that. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to show the comparison between the two. This one, came out when Windows 7 was still out. It's got the i7. Still has all the RGB. It's old school, but it still works. It still plays all the games. There's no game it can't play. 2016 Doom, for example, that was a very demanding game when it came out. It put a lot of computers, on that downslope of what they could handle anymore. And this one can power through it. Can it play ultra settings? Absolutely not. But it will play medium to high settings. And it'll give you about 25 to 30 frames per second. So if you turn it down, obviously you probably get about 40 frames out of it, maybe 35. But it will play it. That's my point here. Now, if you're just big on ultra settings and the smoothest, most flawless gameplay, this is the type of machine you want to go for. But my main point here is, I've got the Alienware M17 R2, which you saw in my first video. I've got the M17 R2. I've got the M14x R2. I also, it's in a backpack somewhere. I have the M18X that has the dual NVIDIA graphics cards in it somewhere. I know I took one of the graphics cards out. No, I didn't. No, I have an extra graphics card that I was gonna add into it. It was SLI compatible. I have the video card in a static plastic thing, so that I could upgrade it, but I just never upgraded it. So I basically have an M18X with a spare video card to throw in it. That's what it was. I never upgraded it. I ended up buying another laptop before that happened. So, but anyways, my point is all these laptops still work. Alienware 17 R5 is only 12 months old since I bought it, so obviously that's going to be good. But I've never had to really fix any of these laptops. I mean, they still keep going. That's what I love about Dell and Alienware, is their products always last forever. You know, I was a big Asus guy before this. Asus this, Asus that. I think G7705 or something. I had something. It was a G7 series or something, 700 series. Man, that laptop was great, but it only lasted 2 years. That's about the maximum life I got out of it. That's the problem I always have with Asus. They always die on me. They crap out. And I have one older than the M14X still at my parents' house, actually. It's the real old school, but it was a big one. It had a built-in radio on the front of it, and you could literally like listen to the radio through the laptop whenever it was like shut and you weren't using it. It's pretty funny, actually. The thing was crazy. And when we look at the Area 51M now, that's what it reminds me of, because that laptop it had a big screen on it. It had a radio on the front. It had a swappable processor inside the laptop, upgradable RAM. I mean, that was the cool thing. That's why I love this Alienware so much from the company. Really, they soldered the RAM down. I mean, that is genius. A lot of people these days, I don't know if it's because either they're old school or they're just kids and don't know what they're talking about. And I'm not calling anybody out here. I'm just saying that, why would you want the ability to take RAM in and out? First off, these days, if I buy a product, I want to know the max potential of RAM that this product can hold. I want it to be pre-configured with the max RAM it will ever support, and I never want to have to worry about it again. Put it in the closet, done with it. You know what I mean? I never want to have to go in and see that I can take the RAM that is fully maxed out in the configuration, be swappable. Why would I do that? Take one out to make it slower? Would I upgrade it? How would I do that if it's already at its max potential? There's the argument to be made that, what if the RAM goes bad? Well, I'm pretty sure the motherboard more than likely will go bad before the RAM does. I've never replaced RAM on any desktop computer or laptop in my entire life. That seems like a very, very rare issue. So why not save the extra space and just solder it down for me? I don't want an extra thick chassis so that I can have two old school looking DIMM slots to put RAM into. I just don't get that. This one you can take the RAM in and out, but this is old school. I mean, it makes sense. Look how long ago they've been doing that. These days it does not make sense. It really doesn't. As a matter of fact, I wish the Alienware didn't even give you an option of how much RAM you wanted. I wish they just max configured it and it wasn't even an option for you to choose. I mean, the difference between 32 and 16 gig is virtually nothing, but why would everybody not just go ahead and get 32 gig? In the case of this motherboard can only support a max of 16 gig because that's how it was designed. So why not just give everybody 16 gig and call it a day? You know what I mean? Just include it in the price. Why would I want the option of a single channel 8 gig or a dual channel 16 gig? 16 gig's the obvious answer. I mean, if you're gonna buy it and it's only $100 extra, why not make everybody just automatically have that? That's my view on it anyway. People are like, well, I can go with Razer and get swappable RAM. Well, guess what? If you go to Razer, a lot of their new models, they are soldering the RAM down now because that's the future. Back in the old school days when we used to build Legos, yeah, we'd swap our RAM out. But these days, we're smart enough to know as the new generation that we're obviously gonna max out our RAM potential, and we're never gonna touch that RAM again. It's gonna sit there till the computer melts from a volcano nearby or something. So, anyways, not to be super subjective, but that's kind of the truth. you know, that's all the comments I've really been seeing online about this is, oh man, 16 gigs soldered memory in 2019. Nah, but 16 gig is more than enough for the next 4 to 6 years. And I've actually never met somebody who keeps their laptops like I do for more than 4 to 6 years. Most everybody upgrades as they go along, especially on desktop computers, but on a laptop, I mean, no, not so much. And the other thing too is I like Alienware's pricing. Actually, it makes them more unique to where I don't have to worry about running into somebody with the same laptop as me, you know, every few days, or you know, whatever. It's more of a rare occasion. I'm one of the few that has this product that is high quality built and gonna last me many years down the road, while they're cutting corners and going with Acer or Asus or, you know, all these other product lines that only last 2-3 years before they just crap out. The only thing they saved on me was maybe $500. So them cheaping out to save that extra $500 for what they think performs better only does it for a short amount of time before Alienware comes back and kicks some major butt in the long run. And you know, Alienware was there from the beginning. They're not stupid. They're pretty smart engineers. The first M series lineup before the R2 came out right here, it was kind of a test run, you know. That was their first step in the door, like most all these models that come out. The Legend design, what's cool about this is they already had some practice with the Area M51, and you know, with all the new cell phone technology, you know, they've implemented that in here. You can tell just the way it puts out air and heat. This unit, this laptop right here, pushes more air out of here than any laptop I've ever seen. No laptop blows air harder than this model as far as I have ever seen. And being how small it is, it's just incredible that much air flies out of here. I mean, if I held a piece of paper, you would see it blowing. Right now, they're not even moving. Obviously, it doesn't need to, and I'm pretty sure if I was to search real quick, there's probably absolutely no hot temperatures going on anyways. But who knows? I've been surprised before. Yeah, so right now fans are at absolute 0, and you can see here from the time that, you know, we're in the 39 to 40 Celsius range. There's no thermal throttling or anything. I mean, this is what it is. I just turned it on, so I mean, obviously you just saw that. Yeah, I mean, in this mode, you're not going to be hot. It's not even warm. I mean, cool to the touch all the way around. Battery life, let's go back. Yeah, I mean, still got 4 hours of battery life. It went out of focus again. But anyways, I just want to go over those things. You know, discuss this a little bit. I know there's a lot of confusion out there about soldered memory, but that is the future. Really, I mean, that's one of those components you should never have to mess with in a laptop. Fully configure it, never touch it again. Max potential that PC's ever gonna see. It's a laptop. Your GPU, your CPU, it's all soldered down. Why not solder down the RAM with it? You know what I mean? Save as much space. Go ahead and put the heat sinks over everything instead of leaving it exposed in 2 little metal clips, which is so old school. But yeah, I mean, this is the future. So let's see here. Okay, so I did get Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Some people wanted me to do some benchmarks. Here's the problem. I don't know what app y'all are using that shows your thermals in game and your frames per second. So if you know what app is free that I can download to show you that while I show some in-game play and stuff. I used to be good at Counter-Strike. I haven't played it in many years. You know, let me know. Let me know what that app is. Comment, let me know, and I'll definitely play that and show y'all, you know, what the thermals, what the frames per second looks like. So far, I don't think I've played a single game that didn't give me 144 frames per second so far, and that's with the 2070 Max Q. Just putting that out there. So I mean, if you know of what this app may be, comment, let me know. I'll download that, and then I'll get another video of the Counter-Strike gameplay on here. And yeah. Anyways, I hope you like seeing the comparison and you know, chatting a little bit about soldered memory. There's just like a huge debate of, oh man, but that's what I wanted to talk about, because I don't get why anybody would ever want to take RAM out, because that's the only thing you can do with it after they send it to you. And if you're ordering a product with 8 gigs of RAM and your plan is to replace 2 4 gig DIMMs, to upgrade it to 16 with two DIMMs, like, I just don't get that. It's only $100 extra. This is a hypothetical. Obviously, this is soldered in, but you know, for this machine, if you did it just to save $1, I don't understand that at all, honestly. Memory's memory. You know, in benchmarks, you're not going to see any difference based on what brand you pick. And if you did, it's the smallest, most minuscule difference in the world. So, anyways, let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.